Hey everyone, it's Will, GamerDad, with another video for you. So first off, I'd like to give a shout out to one of my YouTube members, Tinky. Thanks for your support. Now, if you didn't catch yesterday's notice, we do have two new banners that just became live about 3 minutes ago. And so in tonight's episode of Should You Summon, we'll discuss those two banners. One is for paid players and one is for free players. So let's, without any further ado, let's cover the paid one first. So we're on the Twins Destinies Encounter, Japan 5th Anniversary Series. And so, of course, you can use 1,000 paid stones or one Heaven's Ticket. It is a one-time only, and the reason why it's only one time is it's quite an amazing banner. Note that on pulls 1 to 8 of this single pull, of this 10 pull, you can get any 5-star in the game, obviously at very low chances because there are so many 5 stars, including the newest ones, Flamelopus, Eva, there's all the altars, AS Mystery, and so on and so forth. Now note that on the 9th and 10th pull, all the AS, ES, and altar units are uprated, and keep in mind that because this is called a Twin Destinies encounter, you have 2 5 stars guaranteed. So on number 9, you'll get 1, and on number 10, you'll get 1. And that's on the additional chance of getting anything else on pulls 1 to 8. And so you can see that Pluma Diana is uprated, and all the ASs, AS Victor, AS Silly, I can go down the list and you can see. So 1.79 or 1.78% chance for each one, including all the altars. If we do some quick math, let's just take a quick look here. Approximately 1 in 56 chance to get the unit you want, and if you get 2 of them, I guess it's 1 in 28 each, so to speak, or you get 2 chances of 1 in 56 depending on how you want to look at the probability. Not even too bad. And of course, pulls 1 to 8 will have the normal 3 stars, 3.5s, and 4s. However, the 9th and 10th are obviously guaranteed as a 5-star. So, should you summon? Well, if you're willing to pay money for this game, Twin Destinies encounters are some of the best banners out there for your bang for your buck. The fact that you get 2 guaranteed 5 stars for 1,000 paid stones is quite amazing, that's first of all. And second of all, they actually limited the pull to only AS, ES, and altar units. And so, first of all, if you're newer to the game where you don't have a lot of chant scripts, treatises, codexes, or even the newer opuses, those are pretty hard to get. This is a fast track to get those units without any additional grinding. Or if you're relatively new to the game and you just don't have many units at all, you're getting 2 5-star for the price of 1 essentially. And so there's literally nothing to think about, 10 out of 10 banner, so on and so forth. Now, if you want to think about the game a little bit more deeply and you're talking about a more comprehensive roster, then you really have to decide for yourself, do you want to just, and you have most of these units, let's say, you have to decide for yourself whether or not you want to continue grinding for those treatises, chants, codexes, and opuses, and eventually unlock some of these, or if you're even more of a heavier spender, you can use this banner to pull for light and shadow, getting yourself closer to those milestones such as 80 for the additional badge, 80 for the additional move, 120 light or shadow for the additional badge, and that obviously adds quite a bit of power or int depending how you want to do it, or stats. At 200 you get 4 grass to slots, and obviously at 255 you get additional stat bonus for everything. And so if you're looking to that, this is also a relatively reasonable way to get there because you guaranteed 2 5-stars as well. But in general, I would always recommend this if you're willing to pay stones. The only other downside, of course, is that you don't get to auto-select. It's not a star dream, so you don't get to pick the units you're missing. And so there is a chance you can pull 1 or 2 dupes, depending on how full your roster is. Alright, so hopefully that gives you some idea. This Twin Destinies encounter does come up from time to time, and generally I recommend anyone who's willing to pay some money to pull on it. But in this case, being that they do have mostly the AS, ES, and altars, this is pretty good. Now, one other con I should mention, there are some older AS units that probably won't be too beneficial or desirable for you. I can name some like AS SETI, AS Lokido, some of those units. And so that is a slight downside, but at the end of the day, it's still 1 in 56 chance of getting the one you want if you're looking for one, and if you're looking for more, obviously, the chance of getting something desirable is better. Now, one other small thing is that, of course, if you are still looking for units such as Melissa, Eva, Pisaka, or Flamelopus, the normal styles are not upgraded for pull 9 and 10, so you cannot pull those, which is a slight downside. But I mean, they can't do everything for you. AS, ES, and altars are essentially a way to isolate slightly higher quality units in general. Alright, so we already discussed this one yesterday, of course, in my patch notes. However, there's one last banner that everyone can participate in as long as you have some stones, and does take 1,000 stones, unfortunately. So I know many of us are in dire straits, have limited capability to pull. There's still other powerful banners in place, such as Flamelopus, obviously Silver Striker for some people, even Violet Lancer, and so on and so forth. But that being said, let's go discuss the brilliant encounter in this case. Note that if you can see the picture in front of you, yes, this banner does include all the newest units in the game, including Flamelopus, Eva, Pisaka, some people like Daisy, Garam, and so on and so forth. Okay, so remember that this one is a special banner, one time only. It guarantees a 4.5 or better. Now, some of you may be wondering, why this banner? What's so good about it? I mean, you get a 4-star if you pull on a 10 pull anyways. What's the big deal? Now, the big deal is that you get a 4.5. And what that means is that 4.5s are upgradable eventually to a 5-star. This game is very unique in the fact that you don't have to pull multiple dupes of a unit to unlock their moves or maximize their potential, although obviously there is the light and shadow system. Pulling a 4.5 is essentially as good as pulling a 5-star, provided you do a little bit of grinding. And I say a little bit as in, you are pulling and then you're going to be playing your red and green keys. In my opinion, not the most difficult thing to do if you're running green keys and red keys near the end. That being said, on the 10th pull, because it guarantees 4.5 or better, you have pretty good odds of hitting something you want. So notice that if you combine the odds, it's 1.6% chance to get a Flamelopus or Eva, units that don't have ESs and AS versions. Obviously, in the case where they have both, you have to combine the odds, and it's slightly better than 1.60. There are also specialized AS units like AS Nikkei and stuff like that. Their 4-star will not be upgraded because those are not technically part of the batch. I'll show you what I mean by that. Let's just take a look here. Okay. So note that the Nikkeis of the world, Akane, Seal, they are not upgraded because the reality is they're just basic 4-stars. The AS version is kind of like almost like a bonus, but it's not supposed to be upgraded. And so you just get the flat 0.02% chance of their 5-star, but luckily they don't dilute the pool, which is quite nice. So, I mean, I know this is simplifying the math, but if you're just talking about, combined odds, I'll just use on average 1.6%. Then you go 100 divided by 1.6, gives you a rough estimate of 1 in 62 or 1 in 60 chance of maybe pulling something you want. Not even terrible. Again, very similar to the Twins Destiny, except that these are free stones. And so, yeah, I mean, of course, you can pull some garbage, 3, 3.5, and 4. But remember, regardless if you hit the undesirable 9+1, it won't be a total garbage in the garbage pull, because reality is 4.5 is pretty good and can be side graded or upgraded to 5-star, AS or ES, or even altars depending on what you pull. Now, again, there are some downsides because every banner has a downside. The downside is, again, it's a diluted banner. You don't get to Star Dream or pick the unit you want, and so you are RNGing this, hoping to pull a unit you don't already have. And again, depending on how far you are in the game, you might have almost all the units in the game, in which case this won't help you necessarily get the unit you want. I mean, again, it's 1 in 60 something. It's not perfect as opposed to, for example, pulling on an upgraded banner such as Flamelopus, where, even a single pull is upgraded. So keep this in mind. You see 1.6% chance on the 10th pull. If you think about something like the Flamelpis, where it is 0.8 plus 0.4 for a 4.5 or 5-star total, that's 1.2% per single pull, which means on a 10 pull, you're getting almost a 12% chance on average, whereas in this case, you really only get the 10th pull being uprated, if that makes sense. And so if you're looking for one of the banners that are still, units that are still in play, you are better off pulling on that because it has a much higher chance of getting a 4.5 or 5 of that particular unit, although at the cost of not guaranteeing you a 4.5 or better. So that is the downside for that. So again, in general, people who are looking to pull on this brilliant encounter are the ones who have a good roster, but not necessarily a complete roster. So you're able to fill in potentially a 4.5 you don't have. As you get closer to having the maximum number of units, I think there's 160 odd units out there. You're really not going to find much value here, even if you can get a guaranteed 4.5 or better. So keep that in mind if you decide to pull on that. Now, for myself, if I had a lot of stones, so thereby, if I had like 10,000 stones here, I'd definitely pull on the Brilliant Banner. Why not? It's a 4.5. I can luck out and hit one of the few units I'm missing, and it's still 4 light or shadow for a unit that is normally gacha only. In this case, my stones are pretty low, and although I have enough to pull for this banner, I'm not going to do so, just simply because I want to save for an uprated unit in the future that I have a higher chance of getting, for example. So like I said, the 1.2% chance times 10 for a 12% chance on those kind of single uprated banners. All right, so hopefully that explains my thoughts and opinions about this particular banner, as good as these limited banners are. Keep in mind they're only available for about 8 days, I think. So you'll have to save if you don't already have enough stones for that. Let me know in the comments below what you're planning to do for these banners. I know some of you had already commented. Many of you are considering the Brilliant, and if so, good luck. And for those who are going for the Twins Destiny, may the RNG deities work in your favor, and you may always have that fortune teller give you the gold symbol. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.